Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper 1. I hope the title of the video got your attention. Yesterday Russia launched 3 intercontinental ballistic missiles. These are missiles that are capable and do carry nuclear weapons. 2 of them were launched by submarines, so submarine based. 1 was launched from ground based. And I don't know if this was a silo, if it was on a mobile unit, I have no idea. But they test fired, and this is common, so don't take this video and say, oh my goodness. What I'm trying to do is let you panic now in the sense of learning what you need to learn. What I saw in Matthew and talked to other people on the coast, Matthew didn't affect me, the hurricane, but people last minute were trying to get what they needed, and that's what we're trying not to do. If we do have some situation with Russia or a nuclear power or a terrorist group, you guys see the news, you can react, and you know what to do. It's no, oh my gosh, what's radiation? Can I eat the food in my pantry if it's exposed? We're going to answer all those questions so you're able to help yourself, help your neighbors, and in your community. So I'm going to be very basic. As we can go on, I will make it a little bit more complicated, but I'm not here to teach all this complicated stuff. I'm here to teach you how to survive a nuclear confrontation. Survive as best you can. I know there's going to be people say, no one wants to survive a nuclear war. I don't care about that. You need the information, and then you can do what you want with it. Nuclear weapons, there's 2 types really. There's strategic nuclear weapons and tactical nuclear weapons. A strategic nuclear weapon is a nuclear weapon used to target like a city. A tactical nuclear weapon is used on the battlefield to influence the battle. And tactical can consist of artillery shells that are nuclear, depth charges, mines, suitcase nukes, and those are smaller weapons used to influence the battlefield. Let's talk about strategic. The Russians fired 3 intercontinental ballistic missiles. So I want you to understand what is that. But first let's back up and say the easiest way for any country to deliver a nuclear weapon would be basically with a bomber, a plane, and a gravity bomb. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, a plane drops the bomb, explodes. That's a gravity. Easiest one for countries to do because you can have a very large bomb compared to trying to get it on a missile where you have to shrink it because of the size. Next is a ballistic missile. Basically, a ballistic missile is over the horizon. So the missile is designed to go over the horizon. If you have an intercontinental ballistic missile, it's one that goes a long ways, one that can be based in Russia in a silo and hit us in the United States, or vice versa. An ICBM is very, very, very quick. It is probably 10 times as quick as a fighter jet and 20 times as quick as a bomber that has nuclear weapons. So very quickly it can go anywhere in the world and hit its target. Now, usually they're equipped with 1 nuclear weapon, but they have some that are multiple tipped, and this can be 8, 10, and I haven't kept up with the current ones out there, but there could be a lot of nuclear warheads on that missile, on that ballistic missile. When it flies over, it will then release its missile, or release its warheads, and they will go to separate targets. This is hard because if you can't shoot it down before it jettons all of those, it creates a problem. So you got to knock it out before it releases its warheads. So that is a ballistic missile. Next you have a cruise missile. Think of it as just a missile with a jet engine. It usually flies at very low altitude compared to a ballistic missile. Very hard to detect because it flies very low. That makes it hard to shoot down, and it can surprise you. A cruise missile does not carry a huge warhead. It still creates it still carries a big nuclear weapon. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot smaller than a ballistic. So cruise are smaller, hard to detect, hard to shoot down, and they can be fired from many places. They can be launched from the ground. They can be launched from a bomber. Attached to a bomber. They can be fired from a ship, and they can also maneuver. So they can maneuver around defensive things that you're trying to shoot it down. So it makes it even harder because it can maneuver. So that is a cruise missile. You can have missiles in submarines. You can have your missiles in a silo somewhere. You can have mobile missiles, so it's on a launcher. So we use all of these because we want to have a strike capacity. If we all have just one thing, they can target our silos. Now we have so many different platforms to fire our missiles, deliver our bombs. That helps deter nuclear weapons being used because we have the capacity to absorb a first strike and then deliver a counterpunch. So hopefully this helps. A few types. Gravity, drops from the air. Next is the ballistic missile, goes over the horizon, and these will include the intercontinental ballistic missiles. They can go from Russia over the United States or from US to Russia. Then you have cruise missiles. Smaller warhead, smaller missile. They're maneuverable. They're hard to shoot down, and they're very hard to detect. So this is some basics. You need to understand these so when you hear on the news, hey, it was a cruise missile, it was a ballistic missile, it was an intercontinental ballistic missile, it was a gravity drop nuclear bomb. There's still some more things we need to learn about this, but this is a good start. So Russia fired 3 intercontinental ballistic missiles. So those missiles potentially could hit the United States very quickly. I don't know the time. Is it 18 minutes, 20 minutes? I've heard a lot of things. I don't have that information, but it's very quick. My worry is North Korea could take a freighter, take that freighter, park it off our coast, and they could fire then just a cruise missile at us, and it would have the range to hit Washington, D.C. or major other cities. That is a threat, but that would probably be a cruise missile. They're working on their ballistic missiles, and one day they'll have them where they can actually miniaturize their nuclear weapons, put it on a missile, and use it against us. Thanks for watching.